just afraid of the loudness. It's too loud. Okay. Alrighty. How was your break? Long and stretchy. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Thumma amma ba'd. What was the last thing we talked about? Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Let's move further. I'm going to give you a silly example from my career. Where did I used to do? What did I used to teach? What did I tell you? Elementary school? You know, in the school that I started working at, I was the youngest teacher. All the other teachers were aunties, and they were a lot older than me. And they were very tough with the kids. They walked in, and the children, they put the fear of God in them. Okay? Now, I'm kind of a goofy person, so when I got my job as a teacher, I went in the first day of class, and I'm telling jokes, and I'm showing them like crazy tricks, like I'm sticking things in one ear and pulling them out of the other ear, and like I'm doing all kinds of silly things and telling them stories and all this stuff. The first day of class, I still remember, when I was leaving class, everybody was like, "No, don't go." And that's not because they loved me, because the auntie was coming. That's the more the reason. But still, they like really enjoyed being in my class because I was joking around with them a lot, right? And I was like, why are these teachers so uptight? Why do they make it so hard for these kids to have a good time in class? You know, why can't they just be friends with them? And all the other experienced teachers, they said, "So what'd you do in class today?" So I said, "We had so much fun. We laughed, we played, did you teach anything?" No, we can do that a little later. I want to, be friends with them first." And they all said, "You'll find out." They just kind of that evil laugh. And I was like, yeah, no, it's never going to happen. So a couple of days go by, I'll go into the class, and I'm starting to teach the class, and nobody wants to sit down in their chair. "Tell us a story. Do that thing with your ear." And they're fighting with each other, and one guy's like taking the other guy's pencil, and they're drawing things. And I still remember one kid was on the back wall writing his name. And he was looking straight at me. And the friend next to him said, "Hey, I think he sees you." And he said to him, "Yeah, but he's a nice guy." And he kept going. Then I realized something. When you only show love and mercy and love and mercy and love and mercy, then is it possible that people take advantage of that? Okay. I'll give you a little bit of another example. This is a kind of a silly example, but I think it'll get the point across. Imagine that there's another master and a slave. The master says, "Look, you're my slave, but I don't want you to do all kinds of work. I have very little requirements. All I want you to do is, here's a fence." It's not even a fence, it's just a line with chalk. Don't go on the other side of it. Just stay on the inside. Don't go on the outside. Don't step on the outside. Inside this line, do whatever you want. Did you find your... He made it. Okay. Inside this line, do whatever you want. Just don't step outside this line. That's all I'm asking. So the slave is basically free, but inside a circle. You understand? It's a pretty wide circle. It's like a few acres. Okay, so he can do whatever he wants. So one day he's going, and the slave is kind of close to the line, and he slips. And he falls on the other side. And the master is watching. He's sitting on a chair on the porch. He's watching. Where does the slave look immediately when he falls on the other side? He checks if the boss was watching, if the master was watching. And the master's still sitting on the chair. No problem. The master didn't say anything. He just sat there. So the slave got up and dusted himself off and went back inside. The next day, the slave kind of like, he was near the fence and he pretended to fall. And he looked again, and the master's still sitting in his chair. He didn't say anything. The next day, he stopped pretending. He just kind of put one foot on the line and checked. And the master said nothing. Pretty soon he's walking 1 foot on the outside, 1 foot on the inside. A few months go by and he spends most of the time on the outside. And every once in a while he checks in with the master, hey, how you doing? And the master's like, no problem, living a happy life. Then one day the master calls him. Hey, come here. Okay, he comes there, he goes, remember when we first met? I told you don't cross that line. He goes, yeah, you told me, I remember that. He goes, yeah, well, you started crossing it. You did it by mistake once, but then you started doing it pretending to make a mistake, but you were doing it on purpose. And then you started doing it more and more, and then you started spending most of your time on the other side of the line. And I've been keeping record. I mean, I didn't say anything to you, but I've been keeping record. And here's the record. You crossed the line 5,680 times. And I'm going to whip you for each of those today. You know what that is? That is a master saying, you took advantage of my mercy. And you forgot that I have a right to judge you. I will show you mercy so long as you don't try to take advantage of me. You don't try to make a joke out of my guidance. But I'm not really talking about a master and a lion in the circle, in the lawn. I'm not talking about that, am I? I'm talking about us and Allah. So if you only have Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, then people will take advantage. And so Allah says, not just Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, He puts us back in check. He says, Maliki Yawmiddin. He's the master of the day of judgment. Now this is the easy translation, master of the day of judgment. I'll talk to you a little bit about it because there's so much more we have to cover tonight. The word Malik, actually I'll talk to the word Malik later. I'll talk to you about justice first. Allah says He's the master of the day of judgment. Judgment here is deen. Deen in Arabic actually means precise dealing or accurate dealing. They say in Arabic, kama tadinu tudanu. The way you deal with someone, that's how they will deal with you. In other words, this is an ayah about dealing with you with justice. What we are learning in this ayah is a very powerful philosophy of Islam. You only have two ways that you will be dealt with on Judgment Day. There's only two possibilities. Either you will get Allah's love and mercy, or you would get Allah's justice. Allah did not say you will either get mercy or punishment. That's not what I'm saying. Allah did not say either you will get mercy and love or anger. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you will either get love and mercy on the one hand, and what's the bad option? Justice. Justice. You have to understand what that means. Traveling in the United States, sometimes I think about the ayat in strange ways. When you travel, you go through security. And in like the early 2000s, like 2002, 2003, there was really tight security in American airports. So they make you take your shoes off, they make you take your jacket off, belts, watch everything, and they go through everything, and they give you a pat down, all of this stuff, right? So one day I'm traveling at the airport, and the security officer looks clearly tired. He's just like, so I go through the little bar thing, I go through it. And he doesn't stop me. He doesn't say, sir, could you step to the side? I'm going to give you a special Muslim treatment. Like, he doesn't do that. I was confused. He didn't stop me and check me extra. So I just did this. But you know what I thought of? Hisaban yasira. Allah Azza wa Jalla on the Day of Judgment, people will have a book in their right hand, some people will have a book on their left hand, and the book has what in it? What does the book have in it? All of our deeds. Now, when you have you ever taken your test paper to the teacher? Right? And sometimes the teacher just puts it in his bag, but sometimes the teacher says, stay right there, I'll grade it right now. You ever have that? You're standing at the desk, and your teacher's checking your exam. It is the most stressful thing you will ever do in your life. Because as soon as the red pen gets close to the paper, you just start going like, oh. Right? Allah Azza wa Jal, even if He gives you the book in the right hand, Just because you have the book in the right hand doesn't mean it's been graded yet. You have to open the pages and check the assignment. And if you're like me, I'm thinking maybe I should bookmark it. If you check page 35, there's a Laylatul Qadr in there. If you just get that first, and if the Hajj I think is page 80. If you look at page 80, if you could skip these pages, they're kind of page 80 is good. Students do that. Like they kind of make you want to skip the bad assignment and they want to show you the good work. But Allah Azza wa Jal, so people are nervous and they're about to show their books to the angels. And the angels, yatajawazuna anhum, the hadith tells us they're just gonna say, it's okay, just go. It's okay. You don't have to show me page 80. It's okay, you can go, sir. It's fine. It's like you're going to the security officer to show him your passport. He goes, you're like, really? I can just go? That means you passed. That means you graduated. You got to the other side. When you get to the other side, the guy is so happy. The guy with the book in the right hand, he goes, "Ha, umuqra'u kitabiya." Hey, look at what I got. Look at my score. When people get a bad grade, and I used to do this back in the first year when I started teaching the Arabic program. I used to have the exams and I used to call people's names. And I used to have them come up to the front of the class and I used to hand in their exams and then they walk back, the walk of shame back to their seat. Now when students do really badly on an exam, what do they do with the paper as soon as they get it? They fold it up. And the people who got 100 on the test, their paper falls out of their hand accidentally. Oh, excuse me. The guy who got through security on Judgment Day says, "Hey, check out my book. Inni dhanantu anni mulaqin hisabiya." I knew I was going to get a great score. I knew I was going to meet my reward. Subhanallah. Now the guy on the left hand, the guy's got a book in his left hand, and the Quran describes wara'a dhahrihi, behind his back. So you got a bad report card, and you don't even know how bad it is, because it's behind your back. And the guy behind you sees it, goes, "Oh man." And you're like, what? I can't see it. Now they show their book. And are the angels going to say, no, it's okay, just go? No, they're going to open that book. They're going to go line by line. And the Prophet described, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, "Innahu man su'ila yawm al-qiyamati faqad halaka." Someone who got asked even once on Judgment Day is done. If you get asked even once, in other words, if the angel stops you and says, "Sir, excuse me, let me see that book for a second." What is that? What is that on Thursday? Where were you? What is that place? What is this club here? What is that substance you're drinking? What is the amount you drank? Who are these friends you're with? Are these halal friends? No, it doesn't look like they're halal on the record. Oh man. It's all on record. With video footage. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. They'll see what they did standing in front of them. If that record comes out, you're done. But will that record be unfair? No. On Judgment Day, there are people who Allah shows love to and mercy to and says, "I'm not even going to open your book. Just go. It's okay. Just go." And there are people who Allah says open their book and they get Allah's judgment. It's two things, either mercy or judgment. We want Allah's mercy. We want His love on Judgment Day. That's what we want. But if we take advantage of it, wallahi, people take advantage of it. There are people who get into haram ways of earning money, clearly wrongdoing. They go into bad company. They eat the haram thing. They drink the haram thing. They smoke the haram thing. They watch the haram thing. They do the haram thing. And then they say, "But Allah is loving. Allah is so merciful. It's so awesome. It's okay. Allah is not going to make a big deal out of it." You're trying to take advantage of Allah's mercy. He doesn't take lightly to that. He does not take lightly to that. Allah balanced both things. On the one hand, His love is beyond imagination. It is always going to be there for you. His mercy will always be there for you. And on the other hand, don't you think for 1 second that you will get to just use Allah's love and mercy to take advantage of Him and do whatever you want. Don't you start thinking like that, because that will disqualify you from Allah's mercy. SubhanAllah. It's a balance between both of those things. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim on the one hand, Maliki Yawmiddin on the other hand. Now, I'm not going to go into more detail tonight with these 3 ayat, but I will tell you this. This is now we're getting to my favorite part of this session. These 3 ayat, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and what? Maliki Yawmiddin, are the most complete introduction to Allah in the Quran. What every human being needs to know about God is in these 3 ayat. That's all you need. That's all you need. Somebody says, what is your God in Islam like? What do you believe about Him? You just need 3 ayat of Fatiha. The first thing He told us about Him is He deserves praise and thanks. The second thing He told us about Him is that He's our master. The third thing He told us about Himself is like He's not like any other master. He has extreme love for you, extreme mercy for you. And the last thing He told us about Himself is just don't think His extreme love and mercy can be taken advantage of. He will deal with some people justly if they do wrong to Him. If they continuously do wrong to Him. Subhanallah. It's enough. It's complete. But at the end of it all, what is the relationship we have with Allah? I told you this already. What's the primary relationship we have with Allah? That He is Master. We are slave. That's the relationship. If someone truly understands this introduction to Allah, then necessarily they reach a conclusion. That conclusion is Iyaka na'budu. That is the conclusion. Iyaka na'budu. It is only and only you that we give ourselves to willingly into slavery. Now let's talk about slavery. Has slavery ever been willing or unwilling? What's the usual form of slavery? Willing or unwilling? Unwilling. Nobody says, hey, I'm looking at different career options. I kind of enjoy long chains on my feet and, Nobody applies for the slave job. You understand? Slavery is never done willingly. In my crazy example, yes, you came up to me and said, hey, you're my slave. I was like, okay, let's do this. That was willing, but that doesn't normally happen, does it? There is no more powerful master than Allah. And here's the other thing about all other masters. Usually slaves love their master or hate their master. They hate their master. The first chance they get, they will want to get freedom. And even if they praise their master, is it real or genuine or fake? It's fake. But the surah began with Alhamdulillah. It's real, genuine praise for this master. How can that be? It is because this master did not force you to be a slave. You have to come to that conclusion yourself. That's why He didn't even say U'budullah. Be slaves to Allah. We said, Iyaka na'budu. We give ourselves to you in slavery. We are ready. We made the choice. We will ourselves. We will ourselves into slavery. It's incredible that the religion of Islam tells you in the Fatiha itself, you have to make a choice. Nobody can make you be Muslim. You have to come to Allah yourself. And why should you come to Allah? You should come to Allah because of the first 3 ayat of the Fatiha. That's enough for you. If you really knew what Alhamdulillah meant, if you really knew what Rabbil Alameen meant, if you really knew what Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim meant, and if you really knew what Maliki Yawmiddin meant, each of those are plenty of reasons by themselves, but altogether more than enough to say, Ya Allah, I'm your slave. I don't want to do what I want to do anymore. I want to do what you want me to do. Because what you want me to do is better for me than what I want to do for myself. Because you are my caretaker. You love me more than I can imagine. And your love is coming all the time. And your love came, Allah mentioned His love even before He mentioned slavery, didn't He? So He gives His love even to those who don't become His slaves. Even those who say bad things about Him. Even those who disobey Him. Ya Allah, you've been so good to me, I am ready. Just take me. I'm ready. I sign up. Iyaka na'budu. This is what you and I say when we stand like this. Allahu Akbar. Some of you are watching a movie. Pretty bad one too. And then you pause. Then you make salat. Ya Allah, I'm only your slave. I never disobey you. I came to this conclusion myself. Please guide me. Then you say salam and hit play again. Does that make sense? You know? Some of you come for Jumu'ah. You come for, and thousands of you saying to Allah, Ya Allah, I'm your slave. I came to that conclusion myself. I realize I don't want to, when I do what I want to do for myself, I hurt myself. I want you to guide me. And then right after Jumu'ah, you do some pretty messed up things. You know? What is that? That means we're saying something with our tongues, but it hasn't reached here. And we haven't actually thought about it. We haven't actually become conscious of what we are saying whenever we say, Iyaka na'budu. We are making an agreement with Allah. We're telling Allah something about ourselves. We're making a claim to Allah. How do you tell your mother that you love her? You come to her house. She tells you take your shoes off, you don't take them off. She tells you eat on the dinner table, you eat in the couch. She says, don't bring your friends over, you bring your friends over. She says, don't make loud noise, you turn the volume up. And then you tell her, I love you, Mom. Is that a joke? Is she hurt when you say, I love you? Is that actually offensive to your mother? Are we being offensive to Allah? We do everything He tells us not to do, we do. And then we say, Ya Allah, I'm your slave, totally your slave, absolutely, Iyaka na'budu. I'm your slave. Subhanallah. Wa iyaka nasta'een. And it's only your help that we seek. One of the most beautiful ayat in the Quran, Iyaka nasta'een. Easy translation, it is only and only your help that we are looking for. It's only and only your help that we're seeking. But what in the world does that mean? My goodness. When we decide that we are going to be Allah's slaves, we have to realize that's not an easy thing. That's a pretty big commitment made to Allah. It's not a small thing. And when you make a big commitment, you need help. So we say to Allah, Ya Allah, I just made a pretty big commitment. I don't think I can do it on my own. Can you help me with that? Iyaka nasta'een. Please help. I can't do it on my own. That's the first meaning of Iyaka nasta'een. But one of the most beautiful lessons in Iyaka nasta'een, in the Arabic language, there are like a dozen words for help. Nasr and musa'ada and madad and aun, and there are tons of them. Allah used aun. Nasta'een comes from the Arabic word aun. It's a very specific kind of help. I want you to understand this help because it will open doors of understanding in your life. It really will. When you say Iyaka nasta'een, what are you actually saying? You're driving on the road and you have a flat tire. You pull over to the side. Now, what do? You get out of the car and you look for a spare tire in the back. You take it out and you're jacking up the car and you're trying to lift the car so you can put the spare tire on. But you are not strong enough to lift the car the whole way. So when somebody is passing by, you say, hey, can you help me? And they help you. That is called isti'ana. In other words, isti'ana is when you are already trying, you could not finish, then you ask for somebody's help. That's called isti'ana. Isti'ana is not that when you had a flat tire, you sat in the car and somebody passed by and said, hey, I have a flat tire, can you help me? He says, yeah, okay, well, here's the button to pop the trunk. Can you press that for me? And then take it out. I'm gonna sit here, I'm listening to the news right now. That's not nasta'een. That's not isti'ana. Why not? Because isti'ana requires that you are doing work first yourself. And then you couldn't finish and you need somebody else's help. You got that? So lazy people cannot ask for isti'ana. Lazy people who don't do any work, you can't ask for that kind of help. By saying nasta'een, we are actually telling Allah, Ya Allah, I am trying. I am telling you I am trying. I am putting in the effort. You can see it. And now I need your help. So anybody in the world who turns to Allah and says, how come you don't help me? And people do that. People ask Allah, how come Allah doesn't help me? And they don't even try themselves. They make no effort themselves, but they blame Allah for Him not helping. They have only themselves to blame. This is a principle of Allah. He will help you when you start making the effort yourself. If you never make the effort yourself, and He will not help you. There are two things you have to understand here. I'll go through both of them. There are people in the world who don't do any effort and then expect Allah to help them. It will never come. The Sahaba were helped by angels in the battle of Badr. You know about that? The companions were helped by angels in the battle of Badr. But the Sahaba had to go into battle, meet the enemy, and then the angels came. The angels were not there waiting ahead of time. We've been here since 3 o'clock. Where were you? It doesn't work that way. Ibrahim alayhi salam has to be thrown into a fire, then it turns cool. You understand? Help, you have to do your part first. Everything you can, and then Allah's help will come. It doesn't come on its own. Then the other side of that is there are some people who think they can do everything themselves. They don't need to ask Allah for help. I got my job because I'm very intelligent. I have a successful business because I made some very good decisions. I have a good degree because I'm very smart. And we start thinking we get this because we deserve it, or that we earned it ourselves. The Fatiha is teaching us success, even in this life, comes from 2 things. You put the effort yourself, and then you ask Allah for help. Here's the final thing about nasta'een. When you ask someone for help, it's always specific. It's always specific. If I'm hanging off a cliff, help! And somebody walks by and hands me a water bottle, the help I was asking for was, pick me up. It's specific. I'm not just asking for any kind of help. I need this kind of help. You understand? When your pen runs out of ink and you say, excuse me, could you help me here? And you're asking for their pen. So if they hand you a cookie, that's not the help you were looking for. Help is always specific. Is that clear to you? Because it's always specific, you're supposed to say what you need help in. But in the ayah we say, إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Fima. In what? We need your help, we say. We tell Allah, Ya Allah, we're asking for your help. But you're asking for my help in what? Are you asking for my help in your health? In your family life? Are you asking for my help in your studies? Are you asking for my help in your religion? What are you asking for? When someone is so desperate that they are at a loss of words, that they can't even explain what they need help in, then they just say, help! That's what we say in the Fatiha. Ya Allah, help. Because the things we need help in are so many, we can't even list them. So we just say, إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Subhanallah. One of the most beautiful insights by Shaykh al-Sha'rawi rahimahullah on إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. One of my favorite insights. He said, subhanallah, why did Allah say إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ first? And why did He say إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ second? What happens if you reverse them? Why can't you reverse them? إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. Why not? He says there are 2 reasons. Why were we put on this earth? To ask for help or to do worship and slavery to Allah? So our purpose is mentioned first. And what we need to accomplish that purpose is mentioned second. But there's another even more beautiful thing. When we enslave ourselves to Allah, when we worship Allah, it is for Allah. When we ask for help, it is for who? Ourselves. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ is for Allah, and إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ is for ourselves. What you want for Allah should be mentioned first. What you want for yourself should be mentioned second. It's good manners. It's good manners. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Subhanallah. You guys doing okay? 10 more minutes before the next break? You'll survive? Yeah, I'll give you another 2 minutes. It's okay. I want you to keep paying attention. Short attention span, Ihdina. Guide us. This is beautiful. Beautiful language. The word hidayah in Arabic. Why did we say guide? Because Allah is the master. And you cannot have a master until He gives instructions. And how does that relationship begin? With guidance. And then, since you just said, I am your slave, I need your help. The first kind of help you and I need is, Ya Allah, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Now, if you are asking Allah to tell you what to do, that means you are ready to do it. Yes? So when we say Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, we are actually telling Allah, Ya Allah, I am ready to obey you. Just tell me, I'll do it. I need your advice, and when you give me advice, I'll take it. I have friends who ask me for advice all the time, but they never follow it. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? I've been telling you for 4 years what you should do. You don't do it. I don't want to tell you anymore. There's no point. You and I are asking Allah for advice. Don't ask Him for advice and not do it. At least try to do it. That's the first thing. The second thing that's so beautiful about the word guidance, you know, in Arabic you can say ar-rushd also is guidance. Arshidna, guide us. Ihdina is also guide us. What's the difference though? The word huda in Arabic comes from hadiyya. Hadiyya in Arabic is a gift. When the Arab would get lost in the desert, what's the biggest gift you can give him? Guidance. Water is not good enough. Food is not good enough. Because that means he'll stay alive 2 more hours. He'll survive 1 more day. But in the desert, the biggest gift you need is what? Guidance. That's why they associated survival and guidance together. The ultimate gift would be having the right directions, especially in desert life. We are asking Allah for the ultimate gift. Ihdina. Guide us. And we didn't even say guide me. We said guide us. So it's actually, we're switching. We're going from individual to collective. Everything in the beginning was actually individual in some sense. Hamd is individual. Allah is a master of me individually. Allah's mercy comes to me individually. The judgment day is about an individual. Each individual will be judged. But immediately we switch over to Ihdina, because in this life, if you're going to have a healthy relationship with Allah as an individual, you have to come together as a community to ask. You have to be with other people. You need other people for guidance. You can't do it on your own. That's why it's not ihdini, it is ihdina. It has to be ihdina. And it's not even iya nahdi, which actually would have meant guide only us. That would have been bad. Ya Allah, only guide me, everybody else can go to hell. I don't care about that. Okay. But actually guide all of us. We have to talk a little bit about guidance before I give you your break. It's such a beautiful concept in Islam. You know, when you are lost, you need directions, right? And somebody maps it out for you. Go 3 kilometers this way, 2 kilometers. See, I used kilometers. I didn't use miles. I'm proud of myself. But, you know, take a left and take a right and you'll get there. That is information, isn't it? Sometimes guidance is just information. But Allah's guidance is more than information. Your counselor's guidance is information. The traffic officer's guidance is information. The GPS guidance is information. That's all information. But Allah's guidance is more than information. Allah's guidance, it actually has to do with personal choices at every given moment. And we're not just asking for information, we're asking for the strength to make the right decision. 2 different things. It's not just information. Sometimes we have all the information, we still make the wrong decision. Because we didn't have the strength, the will, the commitment, the right mindset to make the right decision. Don't people do the wrong thing and you tell them, don't you know that's wrong? Yeah, but I got angry. That's why we ask Allah for guidance. By the way, if it was just information, if guidance was just information, how many times do you need information? 1 time. If you're given the information, you don't have to ask for it again. How many times do we ask Allah for guidance? Over and over and over and over again, as a standard. You know, I compare guidance to understand asking Allah for guidance. You have to compare to drinking water. You can't say, I already drank it yesterday, I'm good. It doesn't work. If you want to survive, you have to get it again and again and again. And that is why every few hours, it is as though Allah is telling us, just like your body, every few hours it needs water. Your heart, every few hours it needs what? Guidance. You have to come back to Allah and say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim again. Now a few hours your fuel is running low and you have to ask Allah again. If it was just about information, it wouldn't be repeated this way. And we're also learning something else. It is not something you get to keep, just like water in your body. You don't get to keep it. Once you have it, it's not yours. You don't own it. You run out of it. then you have to go get it again, and then you run out of it again, and you have to get it again. Nobody can say, I have it. I have it already. I don't need any more. You can't do it. That's why I like the comparison of guidance with what? Water. There's a thirst for guidance just like there's a thirst for water. Just like that. Right? So we have to keep asking Allah over and over again. Now, as-sirat al-mustaqim. What does ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim mean? I'll give that to you, inshallah ta'ala, after our short 2-minute break. Because again, I want your attention span to stay fresh. So, stretch at least like, pull your arms up and do whatever it is you do. I'll stick around over here.